Hello, I'm Jude, and this is the English Country House. And on today's episode, it's all about the bush. Rose bushes. For today's episode, we're going to be talking about rose bushes. The rose is a beautiful addition to any natural country garden. They smell beautiful, they look fantastic, they're vivacious in colour, they're fantastic to have around, as I said. When it comes to roses, you really need to give them what they need. They're looking at sort of 6 hours of sunlight a day, typically from early morning, so you need to be planting them if you are in an area that's got plenty of access to sunlight. They can cope with shade, but it's not really the ideal for them. So this sort of location I think is fine. The soil for your roses needs to be well drained and they need to be moderately watered. What does that mean? It means that you don't let the soil get too dry and that it's relatively moist. Okay, so you can do that with a finger test. Is it springy? Does it feel moist? And so on. You might need to stay on top of the watering depending on circumstances and the type of soil that you've got. If it's very heavy clay, for instance, as it is here at the English Country House, then you need to be mindful. It's very easy to overwater them, and that's not brilliant, and we'll come on to that later on in the episode. If during the summer, and if, as we've already said, that if it's anything like England's long, hot, dry summer, which it's obviously renowned for, then it's looking at probably about 1 inch of rain a week. So if you're actually in a genuinely warm country, then you're probably going to want to emulate something like that. So just ensure that you're giving it sort of a number of, 20, 30 millimetres, or depending on your unit of measurage, on a daily basis, just to make sure that the soil doesn't dry out, as we say. So when it comes to pruning your roses, you're really looking sort of late winter, very early spring, around about February, March, and you should be cutting them right back, one, so that you're not leaving them too exposed, and if they won't get damaged in any sort of heavy winds. There's a difference obviously between pruning and deadheading. Deadheading is going to be something that you're probably going to need to do every couple of weeks or so during the summer, really depending on, again, how warm it is where you live. So I'm just going to take off this particular rose bush that we've got here. Isn't in brilliant condition. We've deliberately left this so that we can use it as an example with which to show. So I'm just going to take off some of the dead leaves, and I'm going to take off some of the dead heads as we were to do a bit of deadheading. I've already caught myself with a couple of roses as well. And we've also got some black spot as well that we'll be showing you in a bit more detail in a moment too. So we've got a couple of things here. We've got some sort of diseased and dead leaves anyway, so I'm just going to take these off. You don't necessarily have to snip them, you can just pull them off. I only snip them so I don't absolutely claw myself senseless with them, as I've already done on my left hand. You've got some black spot here. This typically is because the roses themselves have, it's a waterborne fungal sort of infestation, if you will, that you just need to take these off. So you can just pull them off. As I said, I'm only cutting them so I don't actually jab myself with the thorns because I'm a big baby. But yeah, this is really something you need to sort of stay on top on as well. By getting rid of these, you can treat them with a 3-in-1 fungal infesticide, infesticide type lotion. That should actually get rid of all the disease for you, but I find it just easier to just take off the diseased bits with the black spot, as it were. You've got to do it to prevent it spreading. By doing this, you should actually help aerate the plant itself, and that will give you a bit of a better growth as well. So I'll just take off some more of these and then go from there. There's not, I mean, as I say, overwatering is something you really need to avoid with roses. But it is, as I said, it's waterborne, it's airborne, it's very difficult to prevent entirely, but you can minimise the chances of you getting it, as it were. And once one plant's got it, they'll all get it unless you stay on top of it. So when it comes to feeding your rose bushes, pretty much any nitrogen-based product will do. I can't really recommend any particular brand necessarily. They're all as much of a muchness, if you will. They're all as good as each other. But what I would say is it's not, typically speaking, a good idea to overfeed towards the end of summer, early autumn, because all you're going to be doing is really encouraging a lot of softer growth into the winter months, which could obviously lead, when you're getting frost, to dead foliage, dead growth. During the summer, you can probably get away with every fortnight giving them some form of feed, as I say. And if you can, ideally, what you want to do, start trying to get some natural compost, get it into the ground once a month. And that should really then give you a nice bush, because at the end of the day, who doesn't love a nice, tidy bush? So in terms of rose traditions for our family, what we've decided to do now that we're here is to every summer, on the last day of summer, the children and I will go round and they will pick the last rose and we'll present it to Mrs. English Country House, who will then press and dry the rose itself. And then we will record the passage of years and summers in dry pressed roses. Isn't that nice? So hopefully you liked today's content. If you did, please comment, rate and subscribe. It's a massive help to us. Thanks very much.